Finally, an update of some kind, a more concrete update. We've had a couple little tidbits where we've kind of had to read between the lines and figure out where is the series right now? Is there going to be another Narnia movie? And really, the past couple months, I just basically sort of given up and said, no, I don't think it's going to be another one, which I was kind of happy about because, of course, as I've said a few times, I don't really want there to be another Narnia movie at this stage. But basically, it might be surprising to you, and it's pretty surprising to me as well that it's taken me this long to post a video. After all, it was over a week ago that this news was posted. Finally, Narnia have decided, they've kind of been sitting on this for a while, but finally said, kept waiting for something official to be announced, and finally decided, okay, I guess maybe nothing official is going to be announced, and the situation had gotten to a point where it's like, okay, let's say something. Here's the gist of what's been going on. Probably the reason it's taken me so long to post this video is that this does kind of bring us to the same place I thought, and most of us, I think, thought we were, which is, long story short, we should not expect to see another Narnia film for another several years. Exactly what the circumstances were and what the status of negotiations were, we didn't know, but this does bring us to the same ending point, at least. And here it is in a nutshell. You can read the report for yourself that Fantasia Kitty typed up. I think she did a very good job on it. It's very well written, very clearly written. But I've spoken with Fantasia Kitty and Tyrion, the two top dogs at Narnia Web, to just kind of confirm. Okay, here is kind of my interpretation of that. Does this sound right? Here's the gist of it. Right now, if the C.S. Lewis estate decided yes, we would like to make another Narnia movie with Walden, we could have a Narnia movie greenlit tomorrow. If the C.S. Lewis estate wants another studio to make the films, they have to wait a certain period of time before they can sell it to somebody else. At the moment, they have two options: sell the rights to Walden or sell the rights to nobody and don't make a movie. So there's an unknown number of time it's going to have to pass before they can offer it to somebody else, and they're speculating that Narnia Web is speculating it's going to be about several years. We're thinking. So the long and the short of it seems to be that the C.S. Lewis estate seems to be the reason for the holdup, and they just don't want to make it the movie with Walden and Fox. The exact reasons have not been released at this time. So again, that gets us to pretty much where we already knew we were, or most of us thought we were, which is if there's going to be another Narnia movie, it won't happen for a while. After reading that, I'm not going to lie, my first reaction was kind of sadness, kind of a realization that, wow, it's been since about mid-2004, news about these movies has kind of been a part of my everyday life. These are not just movies to me. I don't think these are just movies. These books talk about incredibly important things that mean something, and it's worth standing up for. It's worth, thinking about, and we got to get this right. And I sort of, I guess, had this whole point of view as fans, we have to try to hold the filmmakers accountable a little bit. And fans can be wrong too sometimes, of course. But we have to make them say, hey, make them feel this is important to us. This is not just a movie you're making. But in my head, it's like, yeah, this is kind of what I want. I don't think you should make any more Narnia movies. I thought, it's no secret at this point, I thought The Voyage of the Dawn Treader was an absolute disaster in almost every aspect. So I think it's good that they're going to wait a while before they make another one. I guess I could say I'm excited about the possibility of another studio doing it, because there's always the chance that they'll get a studio who's willing to make these books into the movies they deserve to be. I don't think Walden was willing to do that. I think Walden was a little afraid to make these books the movies they deserve to be. Which is, if you want, you have to make these books what they really need to be, the kind of movies they have to be, you have to take some risks and make them different. And I don't think Walden was quite willing to go that far. Which is not to say the first two films are bad. It's that by the time I get to Dawn Treader, they finally commercialized the story beyond recognition. But right now, I think the most likely thing seems to be that it's going to maybe 5 to 10 years are going to go by, and then I think The Magician's Nephew will probably get made, probably by another studio. It'll be interesting to see how they market that. I was trying to think of something I could kind of compare that to, making a prequel, a long time after the fact. Obviously there's the extreme example like Star Wars, but I was trying to think of a better example. And I thought about Rise of the Planet of the Apes, which is a movie that came out this past summer. Did not see the movie, however, I have seen the original Planet of the Apes film, and they came out with a prequel, decades after the original films. And obviously, and from a story point of view, on paper it was a prequel, but really it was a reboot. It's got a kind of a different feel to it. It's got whole new characters. It really is kind of a new thing. And I think Magician's Nephew would kind of be the same thing, where you have the name and you have the name Narnia in there just to kind of get people's attention. Because, oh, Narnia, I know what that is, even if you don't like it. It's kind of, oh, Narnia, I recognize that. From a marketing perspective, it'll get people's attention. But everything beyond that is basically a reboot. You would do kind of a very new look, a new feel, get a new director in there, and make it, I don't know, darker or slower or faster or whatever. That's what I think the most likely situation seems to be. Now, there are very few ties, just like with Rise of the Planet of the Apes. The Magician's Nephew has very few ties to the other movies. And what I mean by that is, okay, there's Tilda Swinton, there's Liam Neeson, the design of the lampposts, maybe, the design of the wardrobe, a couple little things that would tie you to the other films. That's kind of it. There's lots of room in The Magician's Nephew for a new director to come in and do it his or her own way. To not be too tied down by the other films, and sort of a clean slate and start over in their new look, their new feel, whatever it is they want to do. That aspect of it is kind of exciting to me. That I think, and it's kind of the feeling you get at before any Narnia movie is like, oh wow, fresh start. At this stage, they haven't screwed anything up. Fresh start. Let's make this a good movie. It's kind of hard not to have that feeling about Magician's Nephew initially. That, okay, there's a sense of possibility here. That is by far the most likely thing, I think. It seems highly unlikely that The Silver Chair could get made. I mean, are they really going to make a sequel that many years later? Obviously, you can kiss Will Poulter goodbye. I think he's just going to be way too old. So they would have to recast and do somebody else. I just don't think that they would do that. I just think from a marketing perspective, there's little doubt Magician's Nephew would be a smarter choice. So now The Horse and His Boy maybe they could make later. Maybe after Magician's Nephew they can make The Horse and His Boy, recast the Pevensies, which wouldn't be maybe you'd even want to recast them anyway. You could make an argument for. So The Horse and His Boy could definitely be a possibility. So it's really The Silver Chair, mainly because of Eustace, and obviously because of The Last Battle as well. You wouldn't be able to make. So basically the two books that have Puddleglum in it, makes a cameo at the end of Last Battle, are the two movies that really can't get made, and I'm disappointed. I think there's a good chance they would have done a good job on Puddleglum. Would have been very curious to see who they cast. So that's kind of disappointing. Won't get to see them make my favorite character. But at this stage, I'm really, again, my heart was kind of sad. I won't see anymore for a while. And my head is kind of like, yeah, I think this is best. There's really not much to salvage from the current series at this point. Not that I loved Wardrobe and Caspian, but after Caspian I was kind of like, this is worth continuing. They can still make some great Narnia adaptations and still have a pretty decent series going here. And I think Voyage of the Dawn Treader just sank this ship, no pun intended. Like the whole, it just completely threw a wrench into the whole thing, and I really don't think the series can recover from it. That's kind of my feeling right now. But then there's the whole issue of Will Poulter anyway, I guess. But then again, maybe they would make a sequel and just recast Will Poulter. I don't know. Just throwing stuff out there because finally we get an update. And I'm just trying to pull as much from this as I can. It's funny, when I wrote that poll as a poll on the front page of NarniaWeb right now, if you go to narniaweb.com, scroll down on the right-hand side, there's a little poll just saying, how do you feel about the fact that there probably won't be another Narnia film for another several years? And almost as a joke, I could just kind of have the option, I'm just glad for an update, period. And that's gotten, I kind of put that in there as a joke, but it's gotten 21% of the vote. I thought that was pretty funny. So, thoughts right now. Basically, it looks like there won't be much to talk about or report on the Narnia movies. I guess you could say we're kind of back where we were in, the year 2001. When it started coming out, or in 2002, and it's really early last decade that started coming out, hey, if someone's interested in getting the rights to Chronicles of Narnia, and the speculation went crazy, what kind of movies could they be, and who's going to do it, blah, blah. We're kind of back there now in a sense. Not completely, but partially. As far as the future of this channel, I still intend to keep on doing videos. I'll probably do, reviews for, I want to continue my Essential Narnia series and do reviews for all the other ones I haven't talked about. Maybe I'll just start over from scratch and do a review for the line, talk about the themes, The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, and Caspian and Dawn Treader, Silver Chair, and just go through the whole series and do different ones like that. Because I still reread the books from time to time and get new thoughts on them, and I'm curious to get other people's thoughts on that as well. So I'll probably do some videos. I'm also thinking about doing some kind of top 10 moments from, the best and worst moments from the Walden Narnia trilogy, I guess we can start calling it. In all probability, it's just going to be called the Walden Narnia trilogy from now on, since I don't think they'll make any more movies. So I do have some things I want to keep doing with this channel. Just kind of take it 1 week at a time, I guess. Great to get an update, and what's interesting is now we can really start looking at the series in the past tense. It appears that it is now a complete story. We can look at from when Walden got the rights to when they lost them, and we can look at the sweep of those three films they made, and kind of talk about it as one complete story. I mean, a production story, the story of what Walden Media did with the Chronicles of Narnia while they had it. Maybe I'll start doing that. After we get sort of the 1 year mark, after Dawn Treader has been released, and we can start thinking about this as a complete story, and we'll have some thoughts on how are they going to be viewed down through history, if at all. So finally, this is really like a sort of a transitional video. Kind of the last major bit of news we'll get on the movies for a while, and now I'm really going to be focusing on the books and who knows what else for the next who knows how long. So total uncertainty. It's like looking into the dark island. Total uncertainty. Really no idea what's ahead, and that's the fun because it means there's plenty of room for speculation.